The word that's used in science is called mental rehearsal. In mental rehearsal, there's two types of mental rehearsal. There's what's called internal mental imaging, which means you're in the scene as the first person experiencing it. And then there's called external mental imaging, which is you're observing yourself in the scene. Turns out that when you are actually in the first person and not the third person, that action of rehearsing what you're doing produces the strong biological change. So there's been some really cool studies with visualization. There's an Australian researcher, Alan Richardson. He took 3 groups of basketball players. One group did free throws for 20 minutes every day for 20 days. One group imagined doing free throws for 20 minutes every day for 20 days. And another group did nothing. So the group that did free throws every day got 24% better. The group that didn't, they didn't get any better. The group that imagined doing free throws got 23% better. Just by imagining. They didn't shoot a single hoop, and they got 23% better. So what's the relevance? Number one, when you're truly focused and you're truly paying attention, your brain does not know the difference between what's going on out there and what's going on here. So the thought becomes the experience. Now, from a biological standpoint, our brains are a record of the past. They're an artifact of everything we've learned and experienced to this moment. When we prime the brain to change its circuitry before the experience, now the brain is no longer a record of the past. It's now a map to the future. And so as we warm up those brain circuits, it's more easy for us to slip into a supernatural behavior. So, for example, Roger Bannister. What did Roger Bannister do in 1954? He broke the 4-minute mile. Throughout human history, no one to run a mile less than 4 minutes, because the belief back then was the human heart wasn't able to sustain a sub 4-minute mile. It would explode in your chest and you would die. But he do it now. Yes, lengthening his amazing stride. This was Bannister's answer. Watch his final 300-yard dash. First passing Kenaway, then on, battling against some favorable conditions, a wind and a sudden track. But the interesting thing was he would actually visualize himself crossing the finish line, and in his mind, he would see the clock and he says 3:59, because he knows that it has to happen in here before it happens out there. Now, that was an interesting part, but the other part that I found interesting is what happened after that. Nobody can run a sub 4-minute mile. All of a sudden, one person does it. What happens over the next few years? Dozens and dozens of people start running a sub 4-minute mile. Now, was there a big advancement in shoe technology, training methodology, nutritional supplementation? No, where was the change? A change in belief.